A lot of people have been asking me why I personally am against gay marriage. If we let people get married that are gay, don't you think it'll encourage other people to be gay? Because I mean, when I hang out with tall people, I turn taller. If we had gay marriages, they would raise gay children, and why would we want that? I mean, if you look at it, straight parents only raise straight children.
So this week we're going to be talking about Prop 8, but it's really just an overview of all the gay marriage laws in California, starting with the reversal of the previous ban on gay marriage, then Prop 8, which then redid the ban, and then now, this month, Prop 8 was found unconstitutional by California Supreme Court. A little more than 2 years ago, Massachusetts was the only state that allowed gay marriage. But then, out of the blue, California Supreme Court declared it unconstitutional to deny marriage to homosexual couples. And when this happened, I was still in the closet, and I remember it was like 2 in the morning, and I was on YouTube, and I hadn't even heard about the ruling or anything like that, but I was watching some videos, and then I stumbled upon a video that was actually of people waiting outside the courthouse to hear the decision, and there was this lesbian couple, and the person came out and declared that they had won their case and that gay marriage would now be legal. And they pretty much, everyone was in an uproar, and then this one lesbian turned to her partner and proposed to her on the spot. And I remember watching it as just someone completely in denial of my sexuality, and I started to cry, and it was the weirdest thing because I never cry at videos on YouTube, but it was one of those occasions where I knew I would remember that event for the rest of my life. And then in November, the political environment was really in turmoil because we were dealing with the very first African-American candidate and also the first female vice presidential candidate. So it was already a monumental election, but then there was that little event going on in California with Prop 8 that not many people were paying attention to because of the stuff going on with the female and the African American, Obama and Palin. And I remember watching the polls, and in the beginning we were winning, and then by the end of it, it lost. Well, gay marriage lost out, but Prop 8 won 51 to 49, which in my mind is just that's the margin of error. And it was kind of a bittersweet moment because, first of all, we had passed all these, this new civil right that we had an African-American president, but then in California, gays and lesbians were losing their civil right at the same time, and no one was really noticing. And then it was kind of weird because there was this sudden surge of states passing gay marriage, and I think this one was Iowa because no one really even remembered it was a state, and then randomly they allowed gay marriage. But then California, which is considered by many to be a very liberal and progressive state, still didn't allow it. And then it was just kind of out of my mind because it had been almost a year, and the day before my birthday, my 18th birthday, and I was on Twitter, and one of the people I follow was talking about how they were refreshing the news article about the Prop 8 Supreme Court hearing, and I was like, oh yeah, that's going on. So I was on Twitter, and I was following Prop 8, the tag, and then I was reading, and people were found unconstitutional, gay marriage allowed in California. And at first I didn't believe it because it was mostly a rumor, but then I actually saw the court, the document that the judge released, and I remember just going on Facebook and being take that, unconstitutional gay marriage in California. And the weird thing was, one of my friends from the Air Force, who I didn't really know and who didn't know I was gay when I was in, actually messaged on my status and said, "Are you going to invite me to your wedding?" And it was kind of this weird moment because I'm really not that great of friends with her, but here we were, two people who barely knew each other and met for a briefest amount of our lives. And she felt connected to the community because she knew I was gay. And before, she didn't really know anyone who was gay, and it really wasn't in her mind, but then she knew me, and she knew I wasn't a pedophile or an evil person. And it kind of made the whole situation real for her. And now she's completely behind gay rights, and she feels connected to the whole gay marriage thing. There are people out there who are on the fence about gay rights, and they're like, it doesn't affect me. I don't really know anyone who's gay. But if people were just open about it and told their friends and family, like, hey, I'm gay, then maybe we'd have a lot less people who are against it. So I guess in a roundabout way, what I'm trying to say is Prop 8 was one of those things in my life that changed who I am. And I don't think a lot of people out there realized when they were voting on that how many people, not just in California, were truly affected by how they voted. Especially, okay, side note, I was really pissed off that the majority of the African American community actually voted for Prop 8, which, in my opinion, was like, you guys were fighting for your civil rights like 50 years ago, and now we're fighting for ours, and you aren't backing us. That just seems really hypocritical to me, that they would be like, oh, we have these civil rights, but you're not allowed to have them. Like, as Keith Oldman said in his video...
I keep hearing this term, redefining marriage. If this country hadn't redefined marriage, black people still couldn't marry white people. 16 states had laws on the books which made that illegal in 1967. 1967. The parents of the president-elect of the United States could not have married in nearly 1/3 of the states of the country their son grew up to lead.
So really, for the African American community to be against gay marriage, it was kind of a blow. Just like, yeah, people are trying to fight for civil rights, but there's still those out there who are going to be against it, and even though they got what they wanted, they're going to hold against other people. So now my question to you is, if you heard about the whole gay marriage in California and the Prop 8 and all that stuff, where were you when you first heard that gay marriage was legal in California? Where were you when you first heard that it was repealed? And where were you when you found out that Prop 8 was declared unconstitutional? Also, as a side note, when I first found out Prop 8, I made a music video that was pretty much a representation of my life as an LGBT teen, and it was kind of also a coming out video for me. And it kind of created a controversy at my high school because I was pretty much the first lesbian to come out, and also it featured a pretty graphic suicide scene, which got me into like the principal's office and all that stuff, and they pretty much told me to take it off YouTube. But I'm gonna put it up on my personal channel, and I'm gonna put a link to it here, and check it out.
Psst, 2 down, 48 to